Hello everybody, welcome back to Life with Mama B. I am back with another word of the day. And today, before I say the word of the day, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Also, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, any concerns, let me know. Okay? So, the word for today is boundaries. Now, definition for boundaries. I got two of them. The first one is boundaries are dividing lines. The next one is the one that we're going to talk about today. Boundaries are limits that we set for ourselves and other people. Many times the things that we face in life is because we did not set any boundaries. So people felt like it was all right to invade our private space, to invade our emotions, our mental health, whatever it is that they invaded. You allowed them to do it because we didn't set boundaries. So we're going to talk about 5 boundary lines. The first one is intellectual boundaries. Intellectual boundaries, you're entitled to your own opinion. Now, just know that your opinion does not mean that it's the right opinion. And so there are consequences that comes with that. But when you're setting boundaries, you understand and you have a circle of people that can influence your decision. So it can be your parents, it could be your pastor, it could be your bishop, whoever it is that you can trust to not just agree with everything that you're saying, but that can enlighten you and to give you some alternative actions that you can take. Okay. The next one is emotional boundaries. You have the right to feel the way you feel about any given situation. Now, one thing that we have to be careful about is our emotions, because our emotion will cause us to know that we need to set boundaries, but then don't really set the boundary. We'll say that the boundary is set, but we never enforce the boundary being set. So we have to be careful about the emotional boundaries. And then we have physical boundaries. You're entitled to your own space, no matter how wide or how small it may be. So that's going to be up to you. But just know there has to be some boundaries, because if not, you'll let people and things into your space that'll cause you trouble, that'll cause you to be off track, that will cause you, to mess up your assignment. It'll cause you to not be walking in purpose. So you have to be careful about your space. I can say this about your space. A whole nation of people don't need to be in your space, because too many people having an input on your purpose and on your assignment can cause you to forfeit the assignment, because you'll feel overwhelmed and just too much going on. And next thing you know, you've stopped. So be careful, set the correct boundaries for your space. The next one is social boundaries. You are entitled to your own friends and to pursuing your own social activities. So that's social boundaries. Let me tell you something about social boundaries. You really have to be careful, because you don't want everybody into that social circle. You have to keep in mind that people have motives. Not everybody has your best interests at heart. Once again, you have to know your circle, know who can be in your circle, and then still set those boundaries. Okay? Then last but surely not least is spiritual boundaries. You have a right to believe what you believe. Just know there is a consequence for all of our actions. So when it comes to boundaries and when it comes to setting boundaries, we have to be careful. But at the same time, we have to protect purpose and we have to protect our assignment. That is what is required of us. I pray that you are encouraged. You have to set those boundaries. We can't do the same things in 2021 that caused us to be distracted and do those same things and not set those boundaries to get out those things that don't need to be in our circle. Then we have to do that so that we don't continue to make the same mistakes. And then we're not moving forward. We're really stagnated dealing with the same things. Or we're moving to a different space with the same activity. And we don't want to do that because we are growing. And so I just came on here today to encourage you to set your boundaries. Another thing to note is knowing your boundaries and setting your boundaries is two different things. You may know that you need to set boundaries, but your emotions may cause you to not set those boundaries. And you cannot do that. If you need to set boundaries, you need to set those boundaries. You have to stand firm on what it is that you know, that you believe, and then that lines up with your purpose and the will of God for your life. You have to remember that this is not an option for us. We have to set boundaries because we're going higher and we're moving forward in life. We're not going to be in the same place in 2022 as we were in 2021. There are so many things going on. We don't need to be distracted, so we have to set these boundaries. When you are setting boundaries, there are 3 things that you need to remember. Number 1, knowing your limits. You have to know your limit so that you don't go above or beyond what you are capable of dealing with. Be assertive. Being assertive means that you don't only know your boundaries and set your boundaries, but then you follow through. That means you're going to take the necessary actions to follow through on what it is that you need to do. So you have to be assertive. The last thing is practice makes perfect. You have to be consistent. Any change that you're making, you have to be consistent. If you're not determined in your mind that you know you need to make these changes and you're not going to be consistent. You have to be consistent in moving forward. So I pray that this video has helped you today. Boundaries is our word for today. Let's sit down. Let's meditate. Let's make some changes. Let's get it done. Thank you for tuning in to Life with Mama B. Stay tuned tomorrow for another word of the day. I love you guys to life. Bye-bye.